Hello, everybody, and welcome to another KMU Live podcast. I'm your host, Ricky Chabruggi, and joining me down there in Elkhart is Derek Rutherford. How's it going, Derek?
Pretty good, man. How you doing?
Oh, I'm dealing. Same old, different day.
Yeah.
Yeah, first
Trying
off,
to
I
see
want to
if we're going
apologize to
to.
everybody that do it.
Oh, go ahead. I'm just looking for us on Facebook. Go ahead, though.
Oh, I was just going to say, I'm just wanting to apologize to everybody that didn't get notified of the show tonight. I've had people message me, ask me about it, and said they hadn't seen anything online about it. And I don't know why, because
Well, I
I set
just
the show
looked.
up
We
last
weren't.
week right after the show. I set up the new show, so I don't know.
Well, the last 2 weeks, whenever we go live, I have to click it to go to the Facebook page because it's not click. You haven't clicked it to the Kansas Missing Us All page.
Really?
Let me see if we're live there.
I thought I had been. Okay.
Yeah, we're live there. We have 3 viewers.
Okay, good. Good. Okay, good. I'm telling you. Technology.
It's wild.
I'm
It's wild,
telling you.
man.
I know. And I realized I forgot to pull some of the flyers for the show tonight, so I'm working on doing that right now.
Christopher Unroot in the house. Scott Messerschmidt from Emporia, Kansas, hanging out.
Yeah, cool.
Good to see everybody. Always good to see everybody hanging out. Yeah, I don't know why. And then the Facebook, the logo for KMU is a little funky.
I clicked it. No, I did.
Something's going on, man. Facebook really has a lot of haters when it comes to the live streaming portion of it. You remember when Facebook had a podcast department for about 5 months?
I think I remember something about that. Yeah.
I was taking our episodes, the audio, and I was making it into a podcast. I don't do it anymore, but because it's really more of a visual show. But I was putting it on the KMU's podcast. Like Facebook had a whole podcast department, and I was putting it on there, and we were getting like almost 1,000 downloads on the audio portion of this show every week. And then like 5 months into it, Facebook said that they didn't really like doing podcasts, so they pulled the rug on it. And now it's hard to get people to watch.
Yeah, I remember you saying something about the Facebook was being our enemy.
Queenie says Facebook had a lot of problems today.
Yeah. I heard that. I saw Annette Lawless had a post up asking about whether Facebook was having problems or not, because she had a bunch of posts that she was trying to do and apparently couldn't get them put up, I guess. I don't know.
I don't know, man. It's been... Who knows? I know that YouTube just recently put out a bit of information saying that their algorithms are going to be changing. So, typically right now you have like your people who are famous and that are getting the ad dollars from people watching. And then you have like, no-name people like me and, your channel that have, under 1,000 subscribers, and people, we make a video, we put it up, and it's not like YouTube showing it to anybody other than the few people that subscribe to us. But based on what I've been reading, that YouTube's kind of changing the algorithms where you're going to see just like a lot of random stuff. And I kind of believe it. Typically, whenever I get on YouTube, like my suggested videos are always people that have like, millions of subscribers. Lately, it's been people that have like 20, 30. It's been wild. I've been enjoying it, just seeing other people that I've never seen before do shows and stuff. So hopefully 2025 will be good for this show algorithm wise, as far as maybe getting more viewers here so we can get more eyes on these flyers and stuff. You know what I mean?
Right. And note to Facebook, don't fix what's not broken. Please. It's crazy. You're making it harder on everybody. Stop it. It's like with this crap with Messenger and having to have a PIN number to archive or to unlock the archive on your messages to see your old messages. I'm like, what is up with that nonsense?
Yeah. Well, we'll go ahead and get into some cases. Everybody, please share the show to your friends, and then follow the Facebook page Kansas Missing and Unsolved, so you can see these flyers as they get posted in real time. And it's quite impressive how many people share them. And please continue to share those. Thank you so much. Ricky, go ahead and tell them about Jamie.
Okay. Okay, give me just a second here, and I will do just exactly that. Okay. Where are we at? There she is. Jamie Jasmine Zubia Hernandez ran away from her foster home. She was 13 at the time in Wathena, Kansas on June 9, 2012. Prior to her disappearance, Jamie had recently been prosecuted in a juvenile court for drug possession. She was due in court for her sentencing shortly after her disappearance. Jamie never showed up and was never seen by her foster family again. There was unfortunately very little media coverage on Jamie's disappearance, likely due to her runaway status. 3 years later, during the early morning hours of May 30th, 2015, a Kansas City resident called the police to report a shootout in the 2500 block of Ridge Avenue. According to the witness, two vehicles fired shots at each other, and a female passenger in one of the vehicles was killed as a result. The female passenger's body was dumped on the side of the road, and the vehicles drove off before the police arrived. 2 days later, on June 1st, 2015, authorities announced that the slain female was identified as Jamie. The identity of Jamie's killer remains unknown, as does the identity of the driver and the car Jamie was riding in when she was shot. Additionally, Jamie's whereabouts from June 2012 to May 2015 still remain a mystery. Although she was ultimately found in Kansas City, it is unknown where she stayed or how she survived during those 3 years. Investigators said they received a tip that Jamie was in Kansas City back in 2013. But when they followed said lead, they were unable to find her. At that time, police were searching for a late 1990s or early 2000s white Ford F-150 with flare sides, tinted windows, 20-inch chrome rims, and a touchscreen device in the cab. The truck was located on June 2nd, 2015, unoccupied, and was taken and processed for evidence. If you have any information regarding Jamie's murder, please call the Wathena, Kansas Police Department at 785-989-4521. Or call the TIPS hotline at 816-474-8477, or the KBI at 1-800-572-7463. Or you can scan that Say It Here QR code on the flyer, and you can submit a tip that way. And see if we can help get some justice for Jamie and her family, because they definitely do need it.
Yeah.
Definitely. That's just a very sad, tragic case.
About 6 months away from being a 10-year-old homicide.
Yeah. It sure is.
That's tragic, man. If you're her, if you're her family or anybody that was her, it sounds like she, based on what you read, it sounds like she could be one of those humans that her family let her down more than any stranger could have. But I refuse to believe that Jamie didn't have any friends, or people that she cared about. And then you're just, you're thinking about her, you care about her, and 10 years goes by. You don't know what happened to your friend. That's just wild. That's psychological torture, brother.
Definitely.
Ellen Dotson in Leavenworth. We have get to Ducking Point. Good evening, Derek and Ricky in New York City.
Oh, New York City.
I love that. I think that's I forget the name she used to use. I think that's because I'm dumb. Daniel Barry Sports Highlights. I still need to find out if Daniel Barry has videos. I'm going to check that out tonight. KMU. Yeah, we're just I just I know that Jamie definitely had people that care about her, and I just can't imagine, like, I don't know. Like, I've never had a kid go, missing or anything. Like you say, well, I couldn't find Doc at a really crowded playground, for like 5 minutes, and it scared the crap out of me. You've had to call the police because you couldn't find your daughter before. Luckily, you found your daughter pretty quickly. But I mean, I just imagine, like, that 5 minutes I didn't know what happened to my kid was awful. Right? Imagine, times that by 10 years. That's crazy.
Yeah. Yep.
Not good.
Yeah, I know. And this is one we've covered multiple times, but until she's found, she still needs to be continued to be covered, and hopefully we can help get her found. But this is Benita Wallace, goes by Jaden, missing from Kansas City, Kansas since October 11th, 2022. Was 15 when she went missing, now 17. 5'5", 130 pounds, brown hair. Was last known to be dyed black and red. The red faded, and the underside of her hair had been shaved, and she has brown eyes. It's believed she may still be in the Kansas City, Kansas area, Wyandotte County. Again, she was 15 when she went missing. She's now 17, 5'5", 130 pounds. When she went missing, her hair was her brown hair was dyed black and red. The red had faded. Underside of her hair was shaved. She has brown eyes. She has a small tattoo of 2 small black triangles on her upper right arm and a birthmark on the back of her right leg. She was last seen wearing a pink and blue hoodie and blue jeans. If you have any information regarding Benita's disappearance, so you know her whereabouts, please call the Kansas City, Kansas Police Department at 913-596-3000 or the KBI at 785-296-4017. See if we can't get her located and back to where she needs to be. It's been long enough.
Long time. Shh. You're safe. I don't remember your. I mean, I know who you are, but I don't remember exactly. Merry Christmas to God. Bring all safe.
Yeah.
Amen.
And Queenie, how was the Sawyer Brown concert the other night or last Saturday? I didn't get a chance to go to that, but I have met them before. They're not too bad.
Sawyer Brown?
Really. Yeah.
They're still a thing.
Yeah, they did a show at the Steeple Theater here in town last Saturday. This past Saturday. I remember watching them when they were on Star Search with Ed McMahon.
Is it like the original singer?
Yeah, I think Mark Miller is still the original lead. Yeah, because I saw a picture of a guy here in town that does security at the Steeple, and he had a picture taken with Mark Miller. So, yeah.
I would say The Race Is On.
Yeah.
Or Some Girls Do would be my favorite Sawyer Brown tracks.
Actually, truth be told, when I met Sawyer Brown, Mark Miller, he tried to, I don't know if he want to say brushed me off or tried to or whatever, but he was like, said, "Hey, Mark, can I get an autograph?" He's like, "Oh, I'm his twin brother." I said, "Mark." And he just kind of looked at me and come over and signed and took pictures and stuff.
He didn't want to.
He said he jumped around on the stage like he was still 30. Wish I could do that.
She says 3 of them are the same. I love that. Sawyer Brown's great. I'm gonna have to listen to Sawyer Brown tomorrow at work. I listen to a lot of music on my headphones while I'm editing videos and commercials for my clients. Christina Marie.
Ava Spacek's case. Yeah, we can do that. Let me shoot it over here to. We can add her real fast. I'm gonna take but a second. Yeah, I know she's been missing for a while, and believe she may be with her birth mother. I know that. But
do you know if there's going to be any type of service for Kenny?
I haven't heard yet. I would like to find out though. I mean, I know me and Julie, a friend of mine that took that particular photo that's on screen there. Her and I want to do a memorial service of some kind.
Let me know. I'll definitely me and the family will come up for that for sure.
Okay.
Yeah. For those of you that maybe didn't tune in last week, the bones that we've been talking about that were found by the skull, partial skull, and I guess there were some other one
other small bone. There was one other small bone.
Yeah,
that's all they found.
But there was those were probably a couple of years ago they found those, and then we've been covering that they've been trying to raise money to do extensive testing to maybe get a DNA sample. And long story short, I never actually heard if it was that lab that confirmed it, if they raised enough money. I just know
I haven't heard that either. I was shocked when they come out and said they were. I was like, wait a minute, they hadn't reached their goal yet. I didn't think.
Double T sent me a message, and it was just the article, and I didn't say anything to you because I figured if Double T was sending it to me, you probably knew about it. I figured he'd probably tell you first. But I sent it to Hope. She was very upset. I sent it to Brandon, who's worked on this show. He was upset.
She cannot hear any audio.
Test. I can test it right now. 1 second.
Yeah, because you can hear me, can't you?
I mean, I can hear you.
Okay.
Test. 1, 2, 3.
I will, Tammy. I will.
Test. 1, 2, 3.
And she said she can hear us.
Yeah, we're right after the show. I can hear us on our YouTube stream on my computer.
Okay. And Queenie said we're both there, or we're both here. So okay, we're good. I mean, I don't know what's going on. Sorry, Christina. I'm not sure what's going on. You can't hear us, but okay. Get to ducking points. The sound is great.
Sound is fantastic. Some cool guy's chatting in the show tonight. I don't know who he is. He looks like he's got great hair though.
Okay, she says she can hear now. Good.
Whoever that commenter is, he just looks like he's got it together. Like he's really.
Christina, I did think I saw your post said that her hair is now more of a blonde and a little bit longer. Is that correct?
Mine?
No, Christina was talking about Ava.
Oh, Christopher says he can hear us. Interesting.
I haven't had a chance to update that on the flyer yet, but I did see your post about that.
Did you do a located deceased for Kenny?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
It was kind of difficult to do that one. I was really not wanting to do that one, really, to be honest with you.
Well, it's kind of like when I told Brandon kind of hit the nail on the head. He's like, I'm sad that Kenny's gone and he's not going to be found alive. He's like, but I'm also happy considering how much time has gone by and, people like Kenny had family, he had people that were helping him with his finances. You buddied up with him when you were a kid. Kenny was from a community where people knew who he was. Most people knew who he was. Some people chose to be mean to him. I think a lot of people chose to be nice to him. I think a lot of people chose to let him be a little be their friend and everything. So for almost 5 years, I think it was 5 years. 5 years of just
pretty close,
not knowing where Kenny is at all. And the thing is I never met this guy ever. I only know about him because we covered him on the first show we ever did together. And I've come to really, have a spot in my heart for Kenny because, you've told me some stories. We've had a lot of commenters say they knew him and stuff. So I kind of agree with Brandon. I'm happy and sad, but I think I'm mostly happy whenever we were wondering well, is he deceased or is there a chance that he just hitchhiked to some place where he's having the time of his life and he's he doesn't even realize that he's missing. And I think that I always wish that was the case. And I think that is the case. I think he hitchhiked to heaven and he has no worries. I don't think. I just truly believe that Kenny doesn't really care about any of it. He's like, I'm good. I'm doing what I'm doing up here with in heaven and everything. So I think I'm mostly happy that Kenny is in a great place. He's in a great place and he's not suffering and just sucks. Just sucks to see somebody go after looking for him for so long.
No, I know. And I said it was hard to put those words on his flyer. It really was.
Sammy says, I seen him a lot of corner, Fun Center Arcade, Roosevelt Lincoln Junior, Senior High School.
Yeah. Back in the good old days, yep.
Yeah.
Yep, here's another one I would like to see a resolution to at some point. I thought we were getting close to one, and then guess not.
Yeah.
But yeah, Alexander Perez missing from Ulysses, Kansas since December 1st, 2020. Was 35 when he went missing. He's now 39. He's 5'11", weighs 235 pounds, has black hair that he shaves nearly bald and brown eyes. He called a family member via telephone on December 1st and said he'd be coming to their home to do some laundry. He never arrived at the family member's home in Ulysses, and he has not been heard from or seen by family or friends since then. He'd been staying with family or friends prior to his disappearance. It's believed that Alexander at that point in time, it was still believed he may still be in the local Ulysses area, or he may be in the Garden City area. Again, at the time of his disappearance, Alex was 35. He's now 39. He's 5'11", weighs 235 pounds. Black hair that he shaves nearly bald and brown eyes. He has a tattoo of a bumblebee on his face underneath his left eye. He has Perez tattooed on one of his arms. He has a tattoo of a cross on a chain across his chest. If you have any information regarding Alexander's disappearance, or you know his whereabouts, please call the Grant County, Kansas Sheriff's Office at 620-356-3500. Or the Ulysses, Kansas Police Department at 620-356-4600, or KBI at 785-296-4017. See if we can't get Alex located and back to his family where he needs to be. And Connie says she's known Kenny for 50 years. She's 60 now. That's a long time.
So I'm looking online.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's a couple cases that we cover that the word, so not on the flyer, but whenever the arrest was made in this case, they used wording like murder. They used wording like like they were basically, the police, when they arrested that guy, they were basically alluding that they were under the impression that Alexander had been killed. So to me, it's also Dietrich Foster. His actual flyer has basically alludes that the authorities think that he's been killed maliciously.
Right.
To me, I always wondered what it would take for what would they have to know to say something, kind of that bold, like, hey, this person's deceased, when you don't have a body, you and maybe they do have some type of hard evidence, but I'm assuming if they had hard evidence that trial, that those charges wouldn't have been dropped. Now, again, I've never, maybe you can educate me. I don't think I've seen anything on the news or anything public that said those charges were dropped. That information came from Alexander Perez's family, who talks to me, which I trust. I don't think that they would, give me a false story. But to me, I think that this whole situation is up in the air because we're probably the only publication, and we're going out to 15 people right now, so it's like we're not doing a ton of damage. I feel like we're probably the only publication that's even gone out and said that those charges have been dropped, so like, I think, I think that the public needs to be updated on what exactly is going on with this missing persons case, is because they've used the word homicide before. Is this a situation where the police are, they're pretty convinced that he's deceased? And if so, like, why would, is that why they use that wording when they put the press release out? But to me, I just feel like there needs to be some questions answered. Again, this is we just passed it 10 days ago, 4 years ago that this happened. If you're Irene Perez, his mom, that's a jail sentence. That's a prison sentence, 4 years not knowing where your son is. So I just want to know from somebody more official than me and Ricky Tabruggi, are these charges dropped? Do they feel like he's deceased? I just, and again, I think we should know, and I think that would maybe stoke the flame of this case locally in the Garden City, Ulysses area, and maybe get some more people talking, because it doesn't sound like they have the whole story.
Right. And Tammy's asking if there was a trial, wouldn't he be found deceased? Not necessarily. There have been plenty of examples of people being put on trial and convicted of a murder without a body, but there has to be enough evidence, witnesses, and everything else to be able to say that conclusively that a person actually killed somebody and be able to convict them without having a body. It's very difficult to do, but it's been done.
Yeah. And again, that's not me saying I don't believe it. My thing is, and again, this is probably borders on me being just like a nosy citizen. In order for the police to use the word homicide, I just feel like they have to know something pretty bad. They have to know some piece of information. And again, unless you have somebody in like, shackles or being sentenced for that, I understand that the police don't have to give any information out. It could be damaging to the case, but it just makes me very curious. What does Garden City Police Department know that would make them use the word homicide and then basically to the public say that they were going to basically charge a guy for somebody's homicide where they don't have a body? And then, we're hearing from the family that charges were dropped, but you would think that, and this is going to sound weird, if I was that Oscar guy, if I was the guy that was arrested and they put my name with suspected homicide of Alexander Perez and they dropped those charges, and the Garden City Telegram didn't make a post about it, I mean, didn't make an article about it like they did about my arrest, I would be upset. I would be like, hey, I love how you guys ran to the presses and printed a bunch of papers saying that I might have killed somebody, but those charges were dropped, and I've noticed you haven't said a peep about it. So to me, like, if that Oscar guy didn't do it, to the point enough where the state says that we don't think he did it, I think he's owed an apology, because I think everybody in Garden City's never heard that he didn't do it, and that's not good.
Right. Yeah. I don't know if there's any
for damages.
Yeah. I don't know if there's any media outlets covering that trial or not down there. I don't know. But
I mean, there definitely was some official reporting done on the fact that they were going to put that on that Oscar guy. That came out in the news. So I would like to see, are they still doing that? And if they did drop the charges, why haven't you told the public? Because if I'm that guy, I got to be pretty upset that you called me a murderer 2 years ago or a year and a half ago, and then the state said I didn't do it, and you just were like, well, I would be pretty upset.
Right. All right, I hear you. And this is Rochelle Hammond, missing from Moscow, Colorado since August 15th, 2019. Was 30 when she went missing. She's now 35, 5'6", 120 pounds, black hair and brown eyes. She was last seen walking away from her Moscow, Colorado home. She left all of her belongings behind, including her phone, her identification, her medication, her car, her computer, tools, and pet dog. Rochelle had been living in the area for about 3 weeks prior to her disappearance. She had previously lived in the Columbus, Ohio area. She may be homeless. And although police can find little evidence in her disappearance, her mother believes she did not leave of her own accord and may have been a human trafficking victim. She does suffer from bipolar disorder and schizophrenia and has been prescribed medication for her conditions, which, again, she left behind. Rochelle's nose is pierced. She has numerous tattoos, including the phrase "live like a lion" on her upper chest, a star behind her ear, a skull on the back of her wrist, stars on the inside of her forearm, a cat with a bong on her shoulder, and other tattoos, and there are some of them pictured at the bottom there. Rochelle was last known to be wearing a black tank top, khaki shorts, black Nike shoes, and she has a silver circular barbell in her nose. If you have any information regarding Rochelle's disappearance, or you know her whereabouts, please call the Alamosa County, Colorado Sheriff's Office at 719-589-6608 and see if we can help get Rochelle located and back to where she needs to be.
I'm pretty sure I looked it up last week. I think Moscow's pretty far from me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's that town that May was telling us was pretty wild.
Yeah, a lot of sand dunes and that kind of thing. And you did. We actually did show some pictures of the area several shows back, but yeah, I remember that.
Well, May was kind of telling me, so you know how I do like deep dives on my hometown, on like some of the unsolved stuff. Well, she has some family that's from around that area, and she was saying that, you know, and again, I think this kind of applies to every town in the world, but she was kind of saying that there's some unsolved stuff there that's kind of troubling. But I mean, I always thought Elkhart was special because we had unsolved homicides. Just off the top of your head, how many unsolved homicides can you think of in Salina?
Right off the top of my head, quickly thinking 5.
I mean, it's just common. Every town's got unsolved crimes.
I mean, Catherine Adam, her case, even though she's missing, was reclassified as a homicide. Mildred Hawk, Nellie Hubbard, Gina Cyphers. There was another one I had in mind before. Of course, Tom Young. Yeah, I mean,
the lady that had all the coins and money. What was her name?
Yeah, that was Nellie Hubbard.
Okay.
Yeah. That still blows my mind. I mean, she was a hoarder, and 2 rooms of her home were completely unusable because there was so much stuff in it. Yeah, when the police searched the house, they found $85,000 in the house, and all those silver coins dated back to the 1800s.
What year did that happen?
Yeah, it was, let me look here real fast. I can tell you. Bounce over to KMU page real fast here. 1981.
Okay.
March 14th, 1981.
I'm going to lay a conspiracy theory on you. And I'm not saying this to say anything negative about any, police organizations, but I'm just thinking there could have been way more than 80, because 1981, just street cops. I don't think that they were making millions of dollars, So
Right.
and again, like you have like some cop in the 80s that's got kids he's raising and he's in debt and stuff, and then you stumble upon a scene and the person that the money belongs to doesn't need it. They're gone, and the cop didn't do it. You just wonder like if the cops show up and there's just like they're just, I mean, that's a weird situation for any person to be in. You don't have to be a cop.
Right.
You discover like a crime scene, the person you had nothing to do with it, and you just find like thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. Like I think it would be very hard not to take, not all, just take a couple. Like this will help me buy my kid, fix my kids, because like that's just crazy. And then 80,000 in 1981. Let me look up what the exchange rate would be. That's a ton of money, dude. 80,000,
Right. 85, I think it was.
85,000. So I'll be like,
Yeah.
what is 85? Wait, let me put a dollar sign on there so it knows. 85.
Yeah, Lori Heimer is in this area. Yeah. And then somebody saying, what about Alonzo? He was found on Crawford Street out by 135. I'm trying to think of who that would be. That one escapes me.
So 1981, $85,000. If that story were to if that were to happen in Salina today, the money reported found would be $302,000. Like we're talking a ton of cash. 85K in 1981.
Yeah.
So that's over $250,000 in today's money.
Tammy said she found $100 bill in the pillowcase before.
Really?
No, man. That'd be wild.
Mm-hmm.
Must have been when she was cleaning the house or something.
Mm-hmm.
And she does house cleaning.
Wow. I wonder what.
Say, yep.
I would want to know where she got the money.
Well, she was widowed for one, and my understanding is she owns some rental properties as well.
Okay.
So I don't know. The only family she had, I don't think she had kids. I think the only family member that I ever read about that she had was a brother, and that was it.
There's some people out there, like you said, I didn't see the house or the crime scene, but 300, she had 300, I'm just taking it in 2024. She's a person that's $300,000 just laying around, and she lives in like a small house, and it's kind of, like you said, it's not like the nicest place in the world. There's a lot of people out there that I think are like, they don't care about money. They're just like, they just like, it sounds like she would get all her money from like wherever she received money. Sounds like she would just take it and throw it on the ground in her house. She's like, I guess I'll use this someday. I wish I was like that. Well, to not care, just to be like, whatever. But, but the thing is that it was there, like, because it sounds like nobody knew she had all this cash.
Yeah.
So the fact that, like, I don't know, that's just really weird that somebody came in there and killed her and didn't. And again, maybe there was $200,000 in 1981, and then by the time everybody got through taking handfuls, the 85,000, what was left. But like, if you're gonna go in there and do that and murder someone, why not take all? It's just weird. It sounds like whoever did it, either one didn't know about the money, or two didn't care about it. It was like a personal thing. It's just a weird crime to have that much cash laying around and no, whoever did this to her, like, it didn't sound like they took anything. It's just kind of wild.
Oh, okay. I was reading what she was saying down here. It said, was married to a girl that got shot in Junction City for hire. Found on Christmas Day. It was probably maybe a month or so after they'd found his body in that grass area along. Okay, I remember what you're talking about now. I can't think of his name, but I know who you're talking about. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, it's interesting, man.
Let's see if I can find anything on that case, because I sure haven't seen anything.
They was scared,
This is Haley Davis, missing from here in town since July 21st, 2023. 19 when she went missing. She's now 20. She's 5'6" to 5'7", weighs between 190 and 200 pounds. Her hair was last known to be dyed bleach blonde, and she has blue eyes. She left Salina with a male acquaintance to go to Wichita, Kansas. She was last active on her social media and last heard from on July 21st. Again, at the time of her disappearance, she was 19. She's now 20. She's 5'6" to 5'7", weighs between 190 and 200 pounds. Her hair was last known to be dyed bleach blonde, and she has blue eyes. If you have any information regarding Haley's disappearance, you know her whereabouts, please call the Salina, Kansas Police Department at 785-826-7210, or call Crime Stoppers at 785-825-8477, or text SA Tips to Crimes, which is 274637, or visit www.pd.salina.org and follow the Crime Stoppers link to submit a tip. Or you can call the Wichita, Kansas Police Department at 316-268-4181, or 316-268-4407, or 316-263-6011, or you can call the KBI at 785-296-4017 and see if we can't get Haley located and back to her family where she needs to be. And, you know, like I said, I went to the vigil her family held for her back during the summer, and then talked to her aunt, her brother. We got to see her little boy. I'm sure he misses his mom something terrible. And I'm sure somebody knows something. They just need to step up and do the right thing and you know, say, hey, here's what happened. Here's what I know, and get Haley brought home.
No updates though, as far like from family or PD.
Nothing. Not a word.
Yeah.
Not a single word.
So without saying anything, I know a lot of these flyers, we only know what's on the flyer, but some of the flyers, we do kind of know some. Well, we don't obviously we know it, but family or people who are close to it will tell us additional information that Ricky probably just doesn't feel comfortable putting on the flyer because there's no way to prove it. Is this situation? Do you know any background? And obviously, don't say them on the air. If you're, is there more to the story that I don't know, because you say her family feels like they're very worried that something bad happened to her. Like, so that would be that maybe they know something that's not really out there that would be scary.
Yeah, I mean, they did talk to her brother at length for a little bit at the vigil, and you know, he said he's heard stuff, and he's not able to confirm it or anything like that, but they do fear something bad has happened to her.
Yeah.
You know, he's trying to find a way to prove it, prove or disprove what he's heard and stuff like that. But they are really concerned that something bad happened to her.
Wow.
And then it's been over about a year and a half almost. So, I mean, yeah. You know, and the longer it goes, the sadder it gets and the scarier it gets because you just don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, something with like a runaway situation, or like, which anytime somebody's missing on their own volition, I guess is what I'd say.
Right.
I can get that it's just somebody laying low. Maybe they don't want to answer for something. I'm not even talking about legally. Maybe they don't want to answer for something, to their friends or family. Maybe they, and maybe it's not even something that their friends or family would care about, but I understand what it's like to like run away and kind of just lay low from the people that you care about. Cause maybe, I don't know, maybe you feel weird about something, but when then it's an adult and, like does she have a kid?
Yeah. A little boy.
Okay. Yeah. So when it's an adult and they have a kid, like I almost have to be gone this long. I'm like, okay, are they like chained to a radiator somewhere? You know what I mean? Like you start to really be like, well, where would the person be? Like you worked 40 hours this week, Ricky, like you were at work. Like what was Haley doing for those same 40? There's a long time, especially when you're clocked in and you'd rather be at home making flyers and you're, working at your job. Like that's 40 hours a week is a long time. She's been missing for over, almost close. Well, I guess it's not even been a year. So, yeah, it has. It's been over a year. So I just can't do math. To me, it just I guess like if I'm her family member, I could see how your head would go to a dark place because like literally like unless somebody just has her like in a room and they're kidnapping her and they're just like feeding her, like it's just like, well, where could she possibly be? Like unless she was hiding, like again, like she was hiding from people,
right?
But if somebody is preventing her from being found, it just gets hard to like. Well, would somebody just like sit there and feed her every day and keep her as a prisoner? Like that, I don't think that happens very often. Occasionally, I hear about people that are chained up somewhere for years, but I don't think that's really what typically, is very likely. I think it's like the family said, it's probably more of a darker situation.
Yeah. Yeah. And you'd think, being that she has a little boy, she would definitely not be out of touch with anybody for this long. So
Yeah.
So yeah, that's
super bad,
another reason that let the mind go to a dark place is it's out of the norm for her. So
yeah,
not
good.
Yeah. And this one's Dana Bruce, missing from Sedalia, Missouri since October 4th, 2008. Was 23 when she went missing. She's now 39. She's 5'2", 98 pounds, brown hair, green or hazel eyes. She was last seen at her children's babysitter's home in Sedalia. She left the children there earlier that day so she could go out for the evening. She returned at midnight and gave the babysitter more money and asked her to watch the children for the rest of the night. She was last seen at Malone's Bar on Main Street with a young man driving a late model red Ford F-150 truck earlier on the night of her disappearance. She left with that man at 11:30. Police have identified the man she was with on the night she vanished. He traveled to Atlanta, Georgia after her disappearance, and police questioned him about Dana after he was arrested there on unrelated charges of marijuana possession and driving on a suspended license. Authorities have not named him publicly, but they are calling him a person of interest in her case. He told his questioners that he and Dana parted ways after they left the bar, and he never saw her after that. She left all of her belongings behind, including her hairbrush and toothbrush. She does not have any credit cards, debit cards, checking account, cell phone, or a car. Again, at the time of her disappearance, she was 23. She would now be 39. She's 5'2" and weighs 98 pounds. She has brown hair that was colored brown at the roots and black at the ends with red highlights and green or hazel eyes. She was last known to be wearing a black shirt with the word Rebel and silver lettering on the front and blue jeans. She has a tattoo of a teddy bear with wings and the name Dylan on her upper left arm. She is blind in her left eye. She has a 2-inch scar along her lower spine and a staple scar on her right shoulder. Her ears are pierced one time each. If you have any information regarding Dana's disappearance or you know her whereabouts, please call the Sedalia, Missouri Police Department at 660-827-7823 or 660-826-8100 or the Missouri State Highway Patrol at 573-526-6178 or toll free at 866-362-6422. Or you can call Private Investigator Leslie at 910-427-0070 and see if we can help get Dana located and back to her family. Because again, there's another family that's been searching and searching and searching and wanting their loved one home. And I just hope at some point we can help make that happen. And just, again, I'm sure somebody knows something. They just need to speak up and say, hey, here's what I know, and see if it can't help bring her home.
Yeah.
And Tammy's asking if they question the dad of Haley Davis's child in that case. That I don't know. I've never heard on that. I don't even know who that would be. So, but I don't know if they questioned him or not. Her family never said anything about that when I talked to him at the vigil, so I don't know.
Yeah. I'm not sure.
I did notice her brother, Haley's brother, did a post today and posted a link to when he did an interview with Cake about Haley on Cake News and wanted people to watch it and share it. And so, yeah, they're still actively pushing to keep her out there. Not let people forget about her. And we're doing the same. So. Yeah.
I'm messing with something for the studio. I'll get you a new flyer right now. 1 second.
Okay.
I'm gonna try a new background here in a second and see if it makes anybody mad. It's the same background, just gonna try to animate it a little bit while you're doing the next flyer.
Oh, okay.
I jumped one. Sonny's next.
Okay. All right. This is Sunny Sramick, missing from Trenton, Nebraska since April 20th, 2019. Was 18 when she went missing. She's now 23. She's 5'8", 183 pounds, brown hair and blue eyes. She left with a male acquaintance in a white 2004 Ford Explorer with Iowa license plate number HGJ341, allegedly en route to Omaha, 300 miles away. They plan to pick up his niece there. Sonny called her mother from a borrowed phone at 12:45 p.m. and said that she was in Holdridge, Nebraska. She didn't indicate that anything was wrong, and her family has never heard from her again. The acquaintances told multiple stories about Sonny's disappearance. According to one of his accounts, they went to the Prairie Flower Casino in Carter Lake, Iowa between 9 p.m. and midnight. He went inside the casino. Sonny could not go in with him because she was underage. He said when he returned to the vehicle, Sonny was gone. He stated he looked around in the area for her, but could not find her. Simply left without informing police or anyone else that she was missing. Later, he changed the story and said that Sonny disappeared when they stopped at an unspecified Omaha gas station to refuel. Said he went inside to pay for the gas, and when he came back again, she was gone. And as with the casino story, he said he left without informing anybody that she was missing. Sonny has a tattoo of a tribal sun in red ink on her right ankle, a tattoo of a feather with the word "fly" on her left shoulder. She had cuts on her arm at the time of her disappearance. She has multiple scars on her body, including a rectangular scar on the back of her right shoulder, a small square scar in the center of her forehead, chickenpox scars on her face, scars on her shin and ankle from a bike accident, and a scar on her left hand at the base of her thumb and forefinger. Sonny left wearing a black tank top and denim shorts, and she was also carrying a hooded sweatshirt and pair of jeans. If you have any information regarding Sonny's disappearance or you know her whereabouts, please call the Hitchcock County, Nebraska Sheriff's Office at 308-334-5444 or the FBI at 402-493-8688 and see if we can't help get Sonny located and back home to her family as well. Because here again, it's been several years, you know. Gotta get her found back home to her mom.
Yeah.
License plates are okay. Tammy says she's saying the license plates are changing. Maybe update when you get tag number. Are you referring to Sonny's case on the tag number on the Ford Explorer, or what are you referring to? Oh, that's cool.
I'm gonna change. I just readjusted it. 1 second. Give me like 2 seconds to put it up there. Yeah, I wasn't sure what case she was talking about.
No, me either. I'm assuming the one you said over there. Oh, the Sonny Ceramic case I just covered.
Okay.
Or are you talking about Dana Bruce's and I don't think I had a license plate on that one. Tammy said the background's making her dizzy.
I made it to where just the logo moves now.
To do the Ford Explorer. Okay. I don't think they've ever released that information. If I can get a hold of it, I'll put it on there, but I don't think that they've ever released it. I've never seen it anywhere. Okay, this is Jonathan Jensen, missing from Kerwin, Kansas since June 14th, 2023. He was 52 when he went missing. He's now 54. He's 5'11", 190 pounds, brown hair, hazel eyes. Left without his vehicle, his cell phone, or his wallet. And he was 52 when he went missing. He's now 54. He's 5'11", weighs 190 pounds, brown hair, hazel eyes. If you have any information regarding Jonathan's disappearance or you know his whereabouts, please call the Phillips County, Kansas Sheriff's Office, 785-543-6885, or the KBI at 785-296-4017, and see if we can't get John located and back home to his family. It's cool how the back home media thing scrolls. It's cool.
Let me see if I. Okay, so look, you like the scrolling, the typewriter thing?
Yeah, that's cool.
All right, I'm gonna give you another case
Okay.
and maybe another background by the time you come back to the screen.
Okay.
Because I'm not done messing around.
Yeah, this is Cynthia Renee Gonzalez. This is another unsolved homicide down in Arlington, Texas. On September 17, 1991, Cynthia Renee Gonzalez was reported missing to the Arlington, Texas Police Department. On September 22nd, 1991, Cynthia's body was recovered in a creek bed off County Road 313 in Johnson County, Texas. It was later determined that Cynthia died from multiple gunshot wounds. Cynthia was reportedly at her apartment with her boyfriend when her husband stopped by to deliver their daughter for a weekend visit. Sometime later, she left for an appointment without her customary bodyguard, and she was never seen again. Serial killer Kenneth Allen McDuff, 1946 to 1998. I don't know why I read that part. Was looked at in connection with Cynthia's death. Jim Ford, longtime Arlington police officer and a renowned homicide investigator, had looked at McDuff in connection with Cynthia's case. For going on 18 years, he was never able to make a match or a mismatch. McDuff was believed to have abducted a victim from a car wash in Austin, Texas. Cynthia's car, a two-seat Pontiac Fiero, was seen parked at a car wash in Arlington on the day she disappeared. There were similarities in the Austin case and Cynthia's case. He kidnapped, sexually assaulted, and killed his victim at a car wash in Austin. He dumped the bodies of several of his victims in rural areas, and he killed several of them by shooting them. Investigators could not place McDuff in the Arlington area and could not determine whether he was out on the streets at that time, but could not find him as being incarcerated at that time either. Other persons of interest have come up and have been cleared as well. McDuff has since been ruled out by DNA testing. If you have any information regarding Cynthia's death, please contact Detective Stafford at 817-459-5772. If you wish to remain anonymous and possibly receive a reward of up to $1,250, please call the Toronto County, Texas Crime Stoppers at 817-469-8477 and see if we can't get some justice for Cynthia and her family and friends. It's long overdue in that case as well. And Ellen, you're very welcome. She's saying thank you for sharing Dana and Rochelle's flyers. You're very welcome. Got to keep them going until we get some answers.
Yeah.
You know, it's crazy. Just don't make our viewers dizzy.
How's that? Type 555 if this most recent background makes you upset. I'm serious. I want to know what people think.
No. Yeah. It's kind of cool.
I think it looks cool, but that you don't want somebody to be like, "Wow, this makes." But I think I basically made the back where the only thing like really moving is the state of Kansas, and then the background's barely moving.
Right.
But the audience is the judge. They get to tell us if they're watching. So
right. And Dietrich Foster. Let's see, where's he hiding in my list of flyers here? There he is. Missing from Independence, Kansas since April 12th of 2020. From Independence, Kansas. Was 37 when he went missing. He's now 42. He's 5'9", 190 pounds, black hair, brown eyes. He was reported missing on May 12th of 2020. Last seen around April 12th of 2020. KBI agents and detectives from the Independence Police Department are conducting the case as a homicide based upon findings during the investigation into Dietrich's disappearance. Again, he was 37 when he went missing. He's now 42. 5'9", weighs 190 pounds, has black hair and brown eyes. He has a scar on his chest from heart surgery and a scar on the right side of his nose. He has the following tattoos: a cross on his right forearm, the astrological sign for Gemini on his right arm, 3 dice on his arm, the name Dejeuner on his arm, and the word foo on his abdomen. If you have any information regarding Dietrich's disappearance, of his whereabouts, please call the Independence, Kansas Police Department at 620-332-1700 or the KBI at 785-296-4017. There is a governor's reward of $5,000 for information leading to the arrest and conviction of those responsible for the disappearance and suspected murder of Dietrich Foster. So if you have any information on his case whatsoever, get it called in as soon as you can, even if you think it's, minute, trivial, whatever. Just call it in and let the authorities, decide whether it's important or not. Tammy. It's moving, LOL. And Rodney saying, "Good evening, gentlemen."
What's up, Rodney?
And this is one that I just did last night. This is Rosa Cecilia Chista de Leon, missing from Olathe, Kansas since July 7th. I've done a flyer for her before, but I got some more information thanks to Annette Lawless doing a post last night, and I kind of borrowed some of it. She was 15 when she went missing. She's now 17. She's 5'3", 100 pounds, brown hair, brown eyes. At the time of her disappearance, she was on vacation in Olathe, Kansas. It's believed that Rosa may be in the Philadelphia, Pennsylvania area. And when she went missing, she was 15. She's now 17. She's 5'3", weighs 100 pounds, has brown hair and brown eyes. If you have any information regarding Rosa's disappearance or you know her whereabouts, please call the Olathe, Kansas Police Department at 913-782-0720 or the KBI at 785-296-4017. And see if we can't get her located and back to her family.
Have we covered her before?
It's been a while. I believe we probably have, but like I say, I added new information to that regarding being on vacation in Olathe and possibly being in Philadelphia. And this particular case I just ran into last night researching on another case. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm not familiar with this one, but this might quite possibly be the oldest case I've done. This is Mary Bell Henley, missing out of Wichita since June 5th, 1951. Okay, so she was 25 when she went missing. She would now be 98. She's 5'8" to 5'9", weighs between 125 and 135 pounds, brown hair and brown eyes. She may use the middle name Beth, and her maiden name is Davis. She was married when she was in her teens and had 3 children. In 1951, she left the children with her mother in Cookeville, Tennessee, the city where she'd been raised, and moved to Wichita to be with a gentleman friend. His name was supposedly Houston West, and he supposedly worked for Boeing. After moving to Wichita, Mary wrote to her children a few times on stationery from the now demolished Royce Hotel there. Eventually, the letter stopped. In her last letter to her family, Mary asked them to mail her some summer clothes. They did, but a few weeks later, the unclaimed package of clothing was sent back. Mary's family never heard from her again. Police had contact with her in Wichita on June 5th, 1951. This is the last indication of Mary's whereabouts. Again, at the time of her disappearance, she was 25. She would now be 98. She's 5'8" to 5'9" and weighs between 125 and 135 pounds. She has brown hair and brown eyes, and she does have a mole on her chin. If you have any information regarding Mary's disappearance or you know her whereabouts, please call the Wichita, Kansas Police Department at 316-268-4181 or 316-268-4111 or KBI at 785-296-4017. And see if we can't help get some kind of answers in this case. It's over 70 years old. So, I mean, let's see if we can't help that. I mean, see if we can't get some progress made in this case. I'm not going to say it's impossible, because if you remember, I did a flyer for a gentleman that was missing out of Fort Riley since the 1950s. And I was contacted by his Canadian grandson and was told he'd been living up in Canada all these years. And they did do a DNA comparison, and it definitely was him, and he'd been living in Canada all these years. And sadly, when the grandson contacted me, he had already passed, but they were able to close this case based on that. So and there's, like I say, a case from the 1950s was finally cleared all these years later. So I'm not saying anything's impossible.
Yeah. I remember that was you told me that. When did you? That was like before we met, right? That happened, because you told me that like when we met.
Yeah, they had the FBI involved and doing the DNA comparison and everything on him, and then I asked the grandson to send me a photo of him, a recent one, so I could kind of compare it to the one that was put out there where he was in his military uniform, and you could tell it was him. I mean, there was no doubt in my mind.
Yeah.
So. And Tammy's saying maybe her case is similar to Kenny's. Did they search for her bones or anything? I don't know. This is the first I have ever heard of this case. I found it on Charlie Projects on that website, And then I found where she's listed on NamUs as well. That's where I got the case number down there, the 23C134907, which tells me that this case, her missing persons case, was just filed last year, apparently. So, yeah. So, yeah. I mean, I hopefully we can help generate some kind of information to help them out. I mean, that would be awesome if we could do that. You know, there's been lots of shares on her flyer and lots of comments on her flyer, so we'll just have to see. People are tagging people, and so yeah.
You'd be surprised, man.
Yeah.
A lot of people think everybody forgets about stuff, but there's a lot of people don't forget about stuff like that crazy.
Oh yeah. And we've covered him before, but I have added a lot more information on him as well that I got a hold of, as well as the picture on the left there, because I had the one on the right, but the left one I just got yesterday. This is William Howell, missing from Bel Air, Kansas since March 5th of 2009. He was 81 when he went missing, and now be 97. He's 5'8", 140 pounds, gray or partially gray hair and brown eyes. He was last seen at the Bel Air Recreation Center in Bel Air, Kansas on March 5th, 2009. He's never been heard from again. He had a small amount of cash on him when he disappeared, and he frequently hitchhiked from Bel Air to the northeast Wichita, Kansas area, where he would ride downtown in the city bus. Although William would sometimes go on overnight trips to see friends, he's never been gone for as long as he's been gone. He may associate with the Hispanic community. He is fluent in Spanish. And at the time of his disappearance, he was 81. He's now 97. He's 5'8", weighs 140 pounds, has gray or partial gray hair and brown eyes. He does suffer from diabetes and requires medication to control his condition. He also has dementia, and he may be disoriented, although he's never been violent. He has a scar on his chest from heart surgery, and at the time of his disappearance, he had a broken ring finger on his left hand. He injured his hip not long before his disappearance and limps as a result. He does use a cane to walk. If you have any information regarding William's disappearance or you know of his whereabouts, please call the Bel Air, Kansas Police Department at 316-744-6000 or the KBI at 785-296-4017. And this is another one where I had very scant information on the original flyer, and I added quite a bit of information on his flyer. Everything from the recreation center all the way down to the scars on his chest from heart surgery and stuff, because the original one I just had the basics. So I was glad to find more information on him. It was actually his case I was searching for when I ran across the one we just covered prior to Maribel Henley's. So
yeah,
I was glad to actually add more information to his flyer. It just it's always kind of bothered me when I just have the basics and not really anything on the circumstances. I like it when I have at least some kind of an idea of what may have transpired that led to them missing, or what happened before they went missing or something. So, and having an additional picture doesn't hurt either.
Yeah.
So
you find pictures even when big websites can't find them, so that's good.
Oh, sometimes, yeah. And this is Destiny MacArthur. I've done a flyer for her before. She's missing out of Topeka, Kansas since December 6, 2024. She's 16, 5'6" to 5'7", weighs between 140 to 175 pounds, brown hair, brown eyes. She was last seen in the area of Northwest J and Northwest Central in Topeka. And she's 16, 5'6" to 5'7", weighs between 140 and 175 pounds. Brown hair that was last known to be in a ponytail, and brown eyes. She was last known to be wearing a purple jumpsuit and white shoes. If you have any information regarding Destiny's disappearance, you know her whereabouts, please call the Kansas City, Kansas Police Department. I know she's missing out of Topeka, but their number is 913-596-3000, or you can call the Topeka, Kansas Police Department at 785-368-9200, or KBI at 785-296-4017, and see if we can help get her located and back to where she needs to be. I was told the reason for the Kansas City, Kansas, because her case is actually filed out of Kansas City, even though she lives in Topeka. And the reason was being apparently she was in some kind of a respite care in Kansas City and was going to school in Topeka and stuff like that. And that's, I guess, when she went missing. So hopefully we can help get her located and back to where she needs to be.
December 2nd.
Yeah. Not too awful long ago. His was one, I'm trying to think. I didn't have pictures for him, but he was on KBI. I remember that. And I can't remember how I finally managed to. I remember. I was doing a flyer for a kid that was missing here in town. And that kid's mom told me that he was with Miguel. And I was like, okay. And I looked, and again, somebody had asked me about him a few days prior to that, about whether he was listed as missing or not. And I said, well, let me look. And I looked, and sure enough, he was. But I didn't have any pictures of Miguel. So I was like, okay. And then, as dumb luck would have it, the kid's mom that I was talking to sent me a screenshot of Miguel's Facebook. And I was like, oh, cool. So I was able to snag some pictures so I could do a flyer. So sometimes things just drop in my lap sometimes. But Miguel's missing out of Wichita, Kansas. It's Miguel Alcaraz Felix, and missing out of Wichita, Kansas since December 2nd. This year, he's 16. He's 5'8", 165 pounds, black hair, brown eyes. It's believed he may be in the Salina, Kansas area because he was hanging with this lady's kid that I was working on a flyer for. They were together and parted ways, and the other kid went back home. Miguel may be in need of medical attention as he is without his required medication. Doggone, I can't talk tonight. And he's 16. He's 5'8", weighs 165 pounds, black hair and brown eyes. He does have a tattoo on the back of his right hand. I've seen it in a couple of the photos, but I couldn't get a decent enough picture to add it. So, but if you have any information regarding Miguel's disappearance, or you know of his whereabouts, please call 911 immediately, or call the Wichita, Kansas Police Department at 316-263-6011, or 316-660-9254, or 316-660-9456, or the KBI at 785-296-4017, and see if we can help get Miguel located and back to where he needs to be. And I did pass on to Wichita that he was spotted in Salina. So they do know that. So hopefully they've been able to maybe reach out to the police here and let them know that, so they can be keeping an eye open for him, because he needs to be found and, get some medical attention. I don't like to, I know the specifics of the medical condition and everything, but because of HIPAA, I don't really want to go into detail.
Right. No worry that.
Just know that he does need his required medication, because without it, he can wind up in a bad way. I'm very familiar with it because it's something that the doctors watch me for. So I'm very familiar with it. Yeah. Fortunately, I'm not yet, but they keep an eye on me just to make sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know it's cryptic in my description, but, I'm just trying to stress the importance of making sure that we, help get this kid found and get him treated as quickly as we can before something bad happens. And this one's Casey Estelle, missing from Derby, Kansas. It's November 30th, 2024. He's 33, 6 foot tall, weighs between 180 and 188 pounds. He has brown hair and brown eyes. He went missing on the 30th at 5:30 in the morning. Apparently he went out for a jog, I suppose, from what I was reading. He's last seen wearing a white athletic hoodie and blue jeans. If you have any information regarding Casey's disappearance, or you know his whereabouts, please call the Derby, Kansas Police Department at 316-788-1557, or KBI at 785-296-4017, and see if we can help get Casey located and back to where he needs to be as well. And this is Aubrey Schaefer. Let's see her. I think we covered her last week too. And she is still missing, so I want to talk about her again because we want to get her found and back to where she needs to be. She's missing from Kansas City, Kansas since November 15th, 2024. She's 14, 5'1" to 5'2", weighs between 105 and 110 pounds, brown hair, blue or gray eyes. She did not return from school at Wyandotte High School in Kansas City. Aubrey is high concern due to mental health and behavioral issues. It's believed that she is staying with a boy from her school, but it's not known who the boy is. Again, she's 14. She's 5'1" to 5'2", weighs between 105 and 110 pounds, has brown hair and blue-gray eyes. She does have scars on her forearms and thighs, and her nose is pierced. If you have any information regarding Aubrey's disappearance, or you know her whereabouts, please call the Kansas City, Kansas Police Department at 913-596-3000 or the KBI at 785-296-4017 and see if we can't get her located and back to where she needs to be. And it's been quite a while. It's coming up almost on a month.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's Christmas. Not a good time to be missing.
All right. This one, Shelby McDaniel, another Kansas City, Kansas case since been missing since March 26th of this year. 16 when she's been missing. She's now 17. She's 5'5", 164 pounds, blonde or white hair and blue eyes. She does have ties to Crestline, Kansas, Columbus, Kansas, Oklahoma, and Arkansas. And she was 16 when she went missing. She's now 17, 5'5", 164 pounds, blonde or white hair and blue eyes. If you have any information regarding Shelby's disappearance, you know her whereabouts, please call the Kansas City, Kansas Police Department at 913-596-3000 or the KBI at 785-296-4017 and see if we can help get Shelby located and back to where she needs to be. It's been way too long. So,
yeah.
Let's get her found and back home. And it's been 9 months. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Okay, and this is Tess Jantz. She's missing out of Wichita, Kansas since December 3rd of this year. She's 16. She's 5'1", weighs between 100 and 110 pounds, blonde hair, hazel eyes. Don't have much more than that, but if you have any information regarding Tessa's disappearance, you know her whereabouts, please call the Wichita, Kansas Police Department at 316-660-9254 or 316-660-9456 or 316-263-6011 or the KBI at 785-296-4017 and see if we can help get Tess located and back to where she needs to be. I know her dad reached out to me and talked to me a little bit in private messenger and thanked me for the flyer and that kind of thing. And so let's help get her found back home to her family. It's been 10 days now, so see what we can do to help.
Couple more flyers for everybody.
I should be adding a new photo to Andrea's flyer here pretty soon. I'm waiting on it to be sent to me. But this is Andrea Revels missing from Arkansas. It's Arkansas. In Kansas, it's Arkansas City. Excuse me. Yeah. Kansas. I can't believe I made that mistake. Since December 2nd of this year, she's 16. She's 5'4", 125 to 140 pounds, brown hair and brown eyes. Her nose is pierced. If you have any information regarding Andrea's disappearance, you know her whereabouts, please call the Arkansas City, Kansas Police Department at 620-441-4444 or the KBI at 785-296-4017 and see if we can't help get her located and back to where she needs to be. I've done a flyer for her one other time. So let's see if we can't get her found.
I got one more flyer. Is that all you have?
I think so.
All right. Man.
So, yep. Ava Spacek. She's missing from Wichita, Kansas since May 21st, 2024. She was 15 when she was missing. She's now 16, 5'2", 140 pounds. When I did the flyer, her hair was brown and red. I read her mom's latest post, and not her mom, I believe it's her aunt or grandma, I can't remember. But her hair is now more of a blonde, and she has brown eyes. And it is believed she is with her birth mother, possibly at one of the local hotels there in Wichita. And she was 15 when she went missing. She's now 16. She's 5'2", weighs 140 pounds. Has brown hair that's more of a blonde and brown eyes. Her septum is pierced, as you can see on the right-hand photo there. And she does wear lots of black clothing. I don't have an exact clothing description, but I'm told she does favor black clothing. So if you have any information regarding Ava's disappearance, you know her whereabouts, please call the Wichita, Kansas Police Department at 316-660-9456 or 316-660-9452 or 316-263-6011 or the KBI at 785-296-4017 and see if we can't get Ava located and back to where she needs to be. And Prairie Sage is saying, hello, Ricky and Derek. Hope you and yours are well. Well, doing okay. Thank you.
Not too bad.
Yeah. Having some dental issues I'm trying to get taken care of. But other than that, you're very welcome, Christina. You're very welcome. Hopefully it helps by, keeping her face out there and talking about her and, somebody sees her will do the right thing and pick up the phone and say, hey, here's where she's at. And so she can be, picked up and taken back to where she needs to be. Yeah.
That's it, man.
Yeah. Hopefully we can track down a more recent picture of Ava with the lighter colored hair. That would be pretty awesome to do.
Yeah.
And apparently it's a bit longer too as well than what it shows on the photos too, I understand. So see what we can do to do that. But I want to thank everybody for being with us tonight and sticking around with us. I know we went a little bit longer than our normal hour. We're about 17 minutes over that. But thank everybody for hanging around with us. Yeah, dental issues are horrible. And the main thing is I went to the dentist Friday and they're trying to tell me that they're not in my insurance network when the my insurance provider sent me a website with a list of providers or list of dentists, and they are on that list. So they're trying to sort all that out. And in the meantime, I get to sit here and put up with the nonsense I'm putting up with. Basically, I'm popping ibuprofen like candy almost sometimes. But yeah. Hopefully I'll get it resolved. I mean, basically what they're wanting to do is they're wanting to pull 3 teeth right up here and start prepping me to start working me toward dentures is what they're wanting to do. So see what happens. But just to pull these 3 teeth without insurance, they want $1,800 just to pull those without insurance. Like I don't have $1,800. I said, that's like $600 and some a tooth.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous. But don't get me started. But no, just want to thank everybody again for being here with us tonight and hanging with us for, as long as you guys have. It's greatly appreciated. And be sure to share the shows out and the flyers and tell everybody about us and what we're doing. And it's greatly appreciated. And just to say, Heavenly Father, thank you for bringing us together tonight so we could go over these cases and hopefully bring some resolution to some families tonight. Just, keep everybody safe and in your warm embrace until we see each other again next week. Everybody stay healthy, stay safe. God bless, and amen.